Hey everyone, this is Vince Villani, co-founder of Airpreneur.com and the Airpreneur Freedom Accelerator Mentorship. And today I'm excited to interview one of our very successful students, Nina, who was able to go from three Airbnbs to now 24 Airbnb arbitrage and co-hosting properties in just the last year, now making her anywhere from $50 to $60,000 a month. On the
Yeah.
low end in revenue, we're actually in the slowest season of the year, and she's cracking 50K, which is bonkers. And she's an incredible person. And Nina, you've done some pretty amazing things in just like a short time frame. So she's joined me today to talk more about how she was able to do that. Thanks for coming on, Nina.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Cool, cool. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do for full-time work?
Full time, I'm a high school math teacher. So I've been with the New York City Department of Education since 2008. Started teaching right when I graduated from high school and moved from Pennsylvania from Lehigh University to New York and jumped right into teaching. That's what I've done my whole adult career. And then in 2020, when COVID hit and schools shut down, we had to work from home. And so I had a lot more time on my hands, obviously, because I wasn't spending all those hours commuting back and forth to school or staying after school for meetings or coaching. Just all those hours that I had to put outside of home, they were all like I had my time back, and I've always wanted to like explore real estate. And so that's what I did. Like, just really educated myself. I bought my first rental property when I was, yeah, in 2020 during COVID and got into wholesaling and was doing all these things. And then eventually, I'm pretty sure you'll ask me how I ended up doing Airbnb, but now that's my main jam. I'm settled here. This is what I like to do, and it allows me to use my skills and not have to physically really be anywhere. This is what I've been focused on since 2023 now.
I've noticed that trend, Nina, of once folks got a glimpse of having a little bit more freedom and flexibility of their time during COVID, they're like, how do I make that a reality? So I see a lot of parallels from what got you initially motivated into it with me and other people in our community. But yeah, that does lead to my next question, which is like, what prompted you to start with Airbnb? And like, why did you think that that was the right business model for you out of all of this other stuff, like wholesaling and other real estate vehicles?
Yeah, I actually need to back up. So I started hosting the spare bedroom of my apartment before COVID. I think it was maybe 2019. So that was my initial hosting experience, just hosting a private room. And that actually happened, funny enough, from like ending a relationship and then also parting ways with roommates and just taking time to myself. And once the space was cleared, I was like, what can I do with this space? Just here. I'm not moving. I love my apartment. I'm in a great location. What can I do with this space? And so I thought of Airbnb. Literally, I think Googled like what are all the things you need to like host a private room on Airbnb and just followed this checklist and went from there. So I was hosting that room for a little over a year and like saved all the money from it because I didn't really need the money. I was just wanted to not have empty space here, not wanted to have a roommate anymore, and actually use that to help me contribute to a down payment to buy that duplex that I had and just recently sold last year. So, I mean, there's been a lot of transitions, I think, in my life. One of the main ones, though, was like getting my two nieces, taking custody of them in 2021. And that was at the height of me completing a full rehab project. I was doing a bird project in Philadelphia and was really busy doing all of that. And then once these babies came, I had to change my whole life. Like I couldn't just be going to Philadelphia to do a rehab project, or I just didn't like how all of my time, I mean, it was a very stressful time, but I was also very busy and wholesaling and trying to do a rehab project. Those are not conducive to when you need to take care of a 7-week old or something like that. So what made me dive head first into doing short-term rentals was I needed to be at home So I needed to do something that allowed me to have flexibility with my schedule and like I can manage properties or operate things from anywhere if I have my computer. And so, I mean, that's what I was doing with wholesaling as well. Like virtually, I do, or I've done virtual wholesaling. My rehab project is in Philadelphia, and so my portfolio is in Cincinnati, and I got a few units here in Brooklyn, but and also in Philadelphia. But I was used to like working outside of New York. And so, yeah, Airbnb just gave me the flexibility to do what I needed to from home, working around the schedules of little ones like when they're sleeping. So, waking up really early or working when they go to sleep, having that kind of flexibility to work on my business helped a lot.
I commend you for that. You know, you've got a household you're taking care of, you're by yourself, you've got multiple kids, you've got a full-time job, and now you're figuring out how to make a real estate project like this work. And I hear you as well with like the reasons why I gravitated towards the Airbnb model too, which was like wholesaling. The second you stop wholesaling, you stop making money, right? So
Yeah.
it's a grind, and then you stop grinding, you stop making money. And then fix and flip projects or any sort of real estate investment purchasing projects, very capital intensive, more time intensive. You know, you got to monitor contractors, permits, all this other stuff. So I know the headaches that come with that. It makes a lot of sense. So like you did a ton with Airbnb. Like you hit the ground running after you decided to jump into Airbnb. Could you walk everyone through your last year and how you grew your portfolio so quickly?
Yeah, last year was 2024. It's so crazy because now we're in 2025. I started the top of 2024 with, I think I had 3 units of my own, and I was just starting to like manage for other people. So I was working with a client. I was managing for a client who had a 10-unit apartment building and like a single family home in Dayton, Ohio. So I had 11 units plus my three. And his units weren't fully like operational yet. Like I met him when he needed a lot of help. And so I knew like once that stuff was once his units were finished, then I was gonna be stressed out. And I happened to run into your program and see you and Adam like on my Facebook and yeah, pretty much my Facebook. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this because it's gonna be crazy when I do have 14 units up and running. And so I really liked or the message that you guys have resonated with me, like being able to be an airpreneur. So we're trying to remove yourself from the day-to-day operations to achieve financial freedom through Airbnb. So I was really like into that message, and that's what made me like take that leap and invest in that mentorship and education. And prior to that, I hadn't really I took a course that pretty much is like an intro course. It didn't go in depth into anything, but it definitely helped me get started. So in 2023, I like started my portfolio with 2 units with that information. And pretty much for all of 2023, I did not scale. I was just trying to do my best with those 2 units. I did not invest in much more education beyond that initial course that I had taken. And a lot of it was just gaining experience and learning from whatever mistakes that I may have made then. And then I also like this other mentorship that I was part of had like a sub course that they also reviewed Airbnb. So really, obviously in 2023, whatever information I could obtain to do better. I use that to grow, but like I did not scale beyond 3 units. And like the third unit I acquired in the same building as those first two because I knew that the landlord hadn't rented it out to anyone, and they also weren't looking or they weren't in they're like out of state, and so they weren't looking for people to rent that unit. And so I came to him like, hey, I will rent this third unit from you because by that time I was doing that or operating those units for about 7 months. And so, Yeah, so I got those first two in January of 2023, the third one in August. And then towards the end of the year, I was about to start managing for someone else. And I knew I needed to like build out some systems because I literally was a one-woman show all up until last February of 2024. So one of the first things that Adam said that I needed. It's like you need a VA. Like you need someone to help you because you got 10 units that you're about to manage for someone and all of this stuff. I was like, yeah, like whatever you tell me, I'm gonna do. And I think that is one of the skills that I have. Like if I'm gonna be a student and I'm gonna invest in a course or, be mentored by somebody, like I'm all in. So I'm gonna make benchmarks for myself, take notes, study, and do all these things that I'm supposed to do to try to get the results that I want to see. And
Mhm.
so that was my mentality when I joined Airpreneur. And I'm pretty sure that that has a lot to do with like all of the stuff that comes to me because like I know how to learn since I am a teacher, like teaching, providing information to humans and seeing how they respond. I think that helps me like in my own learning journey, like whatever I'm trying to learn something new. Like how are you gonna make this information stick? How fast can you try to put it into practice and just be organized with that? So
I know I've heard that too from other guys that like are you top of the food chain where they would always say like, look, when I join a mentorship or I pay to be a student somewhere, my objective is to be the best student, right? And then they usually have tremendous success because they go in with that mentality. I know you and I have talked a little bit about like how fast you grew your portfolio too. And I saw a lot of parallels with what you did with what we did, which was like you spend time like building some relationships at the beginning of your journey and those same relationships with the same property owners just keep giving you more properties, right? Like
yeah,
that one landlord that we started with, he ended up giving us another deal and another deal and another deal. And it was like, before you know it, we have millions of dollars worth of revenue of Airbnbs. And it came from like five or six different people, you know? Like it
yeah.
was really just the same five or six people. So, one thing I want to ask you too is like transparently, when I talk to folks looking to get into mentorship and especially with Airbnb, right? There's Airbnb gurus and mentors all over the place. Like they get blasted with ads from this guy and that guy and this method and that method. Why did you choose to work with Adam and myself specifically over some of the other programs out there?
I think, yeah, the things that you were saying, because I feel like I saw you in your, I don't know if they're ads or whatever, like on Facebook more the most, not necessarily Adam. But just the messaging, like your messaging is very honest. Like you also had a W-2 and you also started in real estate with like trying to do it the traditional way. And you saw quickly that that is not the way. And so like some of the things that you did is similar to my own journey and the messaging behind like removing yourself or just building the system so that your business actually operates no matter what from wherever where like you could be wherever and it's still operating well is something that like I wanted to do because I felt myself like I didn't really think that I could expand. Like what happened last year, I did not really it was way more than I imagined, but I don't know, I just had those three units for instance and was very comfortable and not really sure like okay, I think I got it under control, but I really only had three units. Like you're not gonna get far or, get rich on three units. I mean, in Cincinnati. So
Yeah, you saw the light at the end of the tunnel is just like, look, I need to do something about this. 3 units alone is not going to make a difference in my life. Like, was there was there anything that we taught in the mentorship process that you applied and that allowed you to be successful? Like, why did it work so well for you?
yeah, so when I decided to join, I think the first thing that, oh, obviously the trained VA, right? So I needed an assistant to just be organized. And one of the main things that you have to do when you hire a VA is you have to like pretty much transfer your whole business onto the platform that we use to communicate with each other on Monday. I mean, there's different ones, but we use Monday. And that forced me to really like think through the systems that I had in place. And if I didn't have a system in place, I had to think through it and create that. And so just that alone helped me grow my business because it really like all the information was just sitting inside of me because I was that one woman show. And so once I had to think through all the different parts, like how to communicate the business to someone else to like operate it if I'm not working, that alone, like that is a lot of work to do, like that mental work. And so just getting that draft out onto the platform so that someone can start doing these things for me or helping me with these things and like learning how to delegate. What do I need to delegate? All of that thinking work and then like giving someone those directives and seeing how much faster stuff was getting done.
Hmm.
I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. I should have why didn't I think of this a year ago? And that was the benefit of the like the mentorship. Now, as far as the content, it was just very clear and easy to like take action on. So
Hmm.
obviously I had a foundation of I don't know, create an Airbnb because I had those 3 units. I was about to manage this 11 unit portfolio for someone. So they trusted me enough with my expertise to do that. And so just been validated in the experience that I already had from the content that you guys provide in the course was a relief, or I felt good about that because I knew I was on the right track. But the outreach that I learned how to do with landlords is what really helped me grow and how to use the resources around you to for more deals. Because I got, for instance, I don't know, let's see, 4 units from one of my cleaners and like cultivating that relationship and 3 units from a landlord who I met through the out one of the outreach methods that y'all told me about. And I know that there's going to be many more units coming from this owner.
Yeah.
We're just getting started, but just the content helped me be so confident. And I think the confidence like helps other people believe in partnering or working with me. Like the
Hmm.
landlord is like, yeah, I can tell that she's gonna give me more units. And the agent who I got the 4 units from by way of my cleaner referred me to another agent for another opportunity. And so I think just carrying myself in a professional way and just being a good operator,
Hmm.
not even good, but like a great operator and providing value to people. They're like, okay, Nina is somebody we could trust to give her something else, give her another opportunity, give her more deals because,
Yeah. That's
taking care
important.
of the property, communicating well, paying rent on time, like all these things.
Hmm.
I think are very helpful to build that rapport and to scale.
What's really cool, Nina, is we came up with multiple ways to try to find properties, right? Like multiple ways to reach out to property owners, like networking, like finding different avenues. Because sometimes, like, if I were to give you one strategy to find properties, you might exhaust it pretty quickly, and then you might need more creative ways to keep growing more fast. And
Yeah.
you literally implemented like every method that we had, and you
Yeah.
got opportunities from cleaners, you got opportunities from just direct outreach to property owners, you got, opportunities from nurturing the relationships you already have. So it's really cool to just see that like we gave you a list of things to try and you tried all of them and they all worked, right?
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. And what's really important that I want to emphasize that you said too is like when you approach property owners as a partner, as a confident business partner, they want to work with you. Like they're like, look, I see that you want to do something here and you want to help me out, so I'm willing to give you this and then some. So look, it clearly works really well for you. And like I said, at this point, you're crossing like 500,000 a year in revenue, and
Yeah.
potentially even more in the higher seasons. So like, how has your life personally changed since you've grown this portfolio?
It still hasn't hit me yet, but this year is gonna be crazy. Because I mean we did the that 9 unit launch that started I think in October over November. Like November, we like the revenue was like 60,000. And I'm like, what? Like how
Yeah.
how is all of this money coming through my hands? Like how is it me? Like this is my business. And so it's still like unreal. It's not unreal, but it's like, wow.
Yeah.
And it's not a fluke because in December it was 50 something, and then this month in January it's 50 something again. So it's like this is the new standard.
Hmm.
You can accept it, Nina. It happened. It's here. It's real. It's not fake. Like you made it happen.
Yeah.
What next? I don't know. Like this came so quickly, but if I think back to the affirmations that I write or practice or like the mindset development stuff that I focus on, like this is what I asked for.
Hmm.
But I see that I need to be even more specific. So now I think in this year, I just want to be more specific in the things that I want to do or how I want to grow in my business because pretty much everything that I asked for up till now like has happened. And yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
keep going in that same direction.
That's super powerful.
Yeah.
The process of finding out that, hey, what I put out in the universe is actually going to come back to me, and I need to be more clear on what I want that to be.
Yeah.
And that's powerful. It really is. It really is. So, where do you think you'd be today if you hadn't started with Airbnb or even Airpreneur? Like, where do you think you'd be at?
I would be still like I would still be teaching, but just playing it very safe. Um, and just being really comfortable with being a teacher. Like where, I mean, I have a comfortable, I don't know, I've been doing this for 17 years. I make a decent salary. It's easy to be comfortable, but it's not like what I'm passionate about, or like I find myself being passionate about financial freedom, building this business. Like I really love it. It's like something that I've created. It could be as good as I want it to be because it's a product of my efforts and my values and stuff. So it's like it's important. And so now I'm able to like build that and see myself in it and like areas that I need to grow in. It just helps me to like be more clear. So I don't know if I did not have this, I don't think that I would be as motivated or like as connected to like having vision and goal setting and being more clear about my why so I can provide for my family. Like I just think I would be playing it safe and not really living it up as much as I could. Like I'm
Mm.
not definitely not where I want to be, but I'm
Yeah.
on the path, right? And like every day is a journey, and I think I'm just becoming a better person because of, the responsibilities that I have and like the thing that I'm able to create. So everything is sort of like coming together and working hand in hand. And I don't know, if I was not an entrepreneur doing this, I would not be as fired up. Like, okay, what can I
Yeah.
do now? How can I do this? What will I achieve?
You have a little bit more pep in your step, a little bit more purpose each day. It's
Yeah.
funny, I did talk about this recently with a friend of mine, and it's like one of the most valuable things about being in any mentorship is just like seeing, like you get to witness other people doing what you want to do, and that makes you start to say, this is actually possible. Like I could
Yeah.
actually do this.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. I mean, this is seriously such a crazy journey, and I'm like excited for you to like actually watch this like pan out and even bigger heights and bigger numbers and whatnot. So I want to ask you this, like if imagine there was somebody watching this right now and they were on the fence about diving into Airbnb, because they're nervous about launching their first business model or staying booked or whatever it is, or
Yeah.
they're just nervous about being mentored by the Airpreneur team to do it. Like what would you say to them?
Yeah, well, for Airbnb, like you just have to start wherever you can. Like I started with the spare bedroom in my apartment and looked on Google for a checklist of what needed to be in the room and just followed that and then got it done and then perfected it over time, right? So like small things. So when I say get started, right, I start having guests in this room and then I realize that they do things that I don't like. Right? Do I quit? No, you just need to edit your house rules. You did not mention the bathroom rules. They were not clear enough. So now, because of this experience, I'm gonna edit my rules so that it's clear,
Mm,
right? So instead of me waiting, like I wonder. like I can't get started on this room because I don't know X, Y, and Z. No, you get started, you create it, you get started, and then you like tweak it along the way. That's the first thing. You need to not get analysis paralysis, and just take the information and get started. As far as mentorship, there's good mentors and there's bad mentors. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people, one of their biggest fears is like, is this real, or is it worth it, or is this a scam, or all these. I get messages like that from people about Airpreneur, and I'm like, first of all, it's not a scam, and you have control over like your results, right? I think that you and Adam have an amazing program. It has all the information that you need to be a millionaire, to like leave your W-2. Everything that you say that the mentorship does, it can do, but it's not just gonna happen if we don't, it's not, if we don't apply ourselves, it's not gonna happen, right? So you have to really be committed to the process. It's not all on you guys. Like you're great, like to have those coaching calls twice a week. You're present, you're in the Telegram chat. So like those are all good qualities, I think, of mentors that are good. Like you guys are present for us, you answer questions. I've been part of mentorships where it's the opposite of that. And then when that happens, like the students aren't able to grow or to be successful, but you guys are present. And so like you're present. We as the students have to like take the information, implement it, be consistent. Some people might take longer than others to like get their first deal. If you quit, you're never going to get the first deal. So I don't know if it's really a matter of like having the expectation of from you guys that you're going to be present for us as students, but also as students, how committed are we to like implementing the content and studying? Because that is what is going to take you really far. Like you have to commit, and you have to study, and you have to implement what you
Mhm.
learn to even gain any type of momentum. So I think
Yeah.
that if you're on the fence, then you have to be ready to do the work because you guys are definitely legit and the information is there for us to be successful.
I appreciate that. Any of these types of things, like you make the experience, and we can only take you so far. I mean, I think, we try our best to take them as far as we can. So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's been so cool to see your journey go from 3 units to grabbing a couple more, getting a couple more, then launching this 9 unit apartment deal in the back end of the year too, which is just awesome. So I appreciate you sharing everything about your journey, the wisdom, your experiences, your thoughts on the experience that you've had with us. And for anyone else who's listening, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for Nina for letting me interview you and for being the example for anybody looking to achieve great heights with Airbnb. You're not just somebody that got to 5K a month, you're at 50 to 60 now, which is
Yeah.
bananas, right? So if you're
Yeah.
watching this right now and you're interested in working with the Airpreneur team, or you have questions about our mentorship, then I want you to click the link below this video to book a call with us, and we could chat this week. So on this call, we're going to figure out A, what's your goal with Airbnb, B, what's holding you back from diving in, and C, give you a clear action plan on exactly how to achieve your goals.
Yes.
So thank you and talk soon. And Nina, thanks so much. I can't wait to see what you do this year.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. And yes, you're right about the action plan. Adam helped me come up with that on our, like, I don't know, launching call. And I stuck to that and it made a huge difference. So you won't be alone with Wearpreneur. So that's definitely a fact.
Much love. Much
Yes,
love.
thank you.